This is part 2 of a 2-part series of Pooch Selfie. Make sure you check out the entire video. If you haven't seen part 1, make sure you do that first. The link is going to be in the description below, or just hit the thumbnail right here and enjoy. What's it like to work with Daymond John? Let's talk about campaigns for marketing.
I had to go out in the Wild West, Alibaba, AliExpress, and find my supplier.
What would be the profit margin per unit?
I send them an order, and they put it all together, and they ship it out for me. A patent is a great thing to have, but it's only as good as how much you're willing to invest to protect those IP rights. But that's not where we move the most volume. Execute, execute, execute. Get out there and start.
Exactly.
Right?
Back to Shark Tank a little bit. How have your sales, have they spiked after you aired? By how much?
So we did, on the night that we aired and the day after, we did probably half a year's worth of sales in that year.
Gosh, that sounds good.
And it's the gift that keeps on giving, right? Because all Shark Tank segments actually re-air on CNBC. So when they do re-air, we get a spike every time that happens. And it happens probably once every 8 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Once
so
every
it's been
8 weeks.
And some people catch that, and they're catching the episode for the first time, even though it was 2-3 years ago.
It's like getting a boost, what, 4 or 5 times a year?
Yes. Yes. And
nice.
it helps, and it helps very much during the Christmas season.
On that note, overall though, how has Shark Tank just helped you?
First and foremost is to be able to say that your product was as seen on Shark Tank is huge. It's probably bigger with the direct-to-consumer sales. That's why as seen on TV is such a big thing, right? Is because it actually lifts up the brand recognition.
Okay. As an inventor, entrepreneur, let's talk about materials, suppliers. What's the difficulty there? How did you find yours? Any tips, advice for folks in the same industry as you?
I was lucky actually because of my daily profession. I was a little bit in the world of injection molding. I took an idea that I had and really used a loose connection I had with an injection molder for a different opportunity. And I took that and said, hey, I have this pet passion project that I want to take off the ground, and that person actually happened to help me. Tennis balls, that was a different story. I had to go out in the Wild West, Alibaba, AliExpress, and find my supplier. Back then, I think it was a little bit scarier to do that. And actually, you can find a supplier that does something pretty close to what you want them to do, and contact them to see if they can maybe make a derivative of that. Okay. And those are things that I thought about as well as how can I get, that's not what I need, but how do I find it? Just ask the question. You know, they'll probably be more than willing to make it for you.
We touched on it a little bit. Curious if we can dive into the knockoffs, right? In this business of product development. After you.
Thank you.
When did the first one pop up? How did you deal with it? What's some advice and tips and tricks on just, dealing with that world?
I wasn't even done with my Kickstarter yet. And there was a knockoff that was, at that point it was just pictures, but it was being sold from China. And it looked like my product. And in some cases, they even grabbed my pictures and just rebranded my pictures and put them on their listings. Not only that, but I didn't know how to battle them first. I thought, I have a patent, it's gonna hold true to everything. And a patent is a great thing to have, but it's only as good as how much you're willing to invest to protect those IP rights.
To enforce it
And no matter what you do, there's an entire country or countries that don't care. Like if they can make a quick dollar while you're trying to figure out how to fight them on whatever platform they're selling on, they're gonna do it and they're gonna go on to the next thing. First, I tried to look at where you think you would go, is to a lawyer and say, can I battle this? And they told me this never-ending battle that will yield in no results. And so then I tried to focus on how do I protect my primary resource, which was Amazon? How do I do protection just on Amazon? We'll worry about other things later on, but how do I do Amazon? And Amazon's evolved over the last couple of years, and it used to start with something very basic, and they've graduated into some more interesting targeted programs that are helping IP and you as just a regular person battle that IP on their platform.
Okay.
And then I actually went the extra degree and I registered my patent, the US patent, with Alibaba AliExpress.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So once you get it registered and accepted by then, I can actually combat the wholesalers of the counterfeit items from being sold on their website to all these other countries that can relist it.
What would be the profit margin on per unit? I never actually asked you Pooch Selfie. What's the profit margin on that? And then your new product that you're developing
so
now.
We've settled into a $9.99, $10 item.
Okay.
Right. The profit margin on there can be anywhere between 70% or can be as low as 40%.
Okay.
And that's really where you sell it. So we sell the most, we make the most profit margin we do by selling directly on our own website. But that's not where we move the most volume. The most volume goes on open marketplaces like Amazon, Walmart.com, and Chewy. Now, to be on those marketplaces, you got to pay fulfillment costs because everybody wants their product in 2 days. One day if they can get it. We're limited to what we can do directly by using USPS and sending things out by ground because this is the cheapest way to send it. But all the major marketplaces will allow you to do 1 or 2 day shipping through their through their fulfillment centers. But then you're covering the price of it to actually exist in that ecosystem. So that's where you get those 40%, 35% margin situations.
Fluctuations. Okay.
Yes.
So how are you set up today? Walk us through the process.
So I ship about 10% of my product out of my home.
Okay.
I want to say some of the smaller orders, some of the MOQs, the boutique shop type of outfits. But the bigger ones like Petco, Nordstrom, even the Amazon inventory gets palletized at my co-packer up in LA, and I just manage them. I send them an order, and they put it all together, and they ship it out for me.
How much profit margin are they eaten away or taken away in exchange for that service?
They combined it because they do my actual packaging itself, and then they've combined that with a discount on shipping some items out. So it's actually a trade-off. Anywhere that you can get a value-added service to combine, it's like bundling your insurance, right?
Gotcha.
You're always going to get a better if you can have one more leg of that supply chain, especially at the end.
What's it like to work with Daymond John?
It's very busy. You have to get a lot of what you need to cover with him in a very short amount of time, right? Because he's a busy guy. You got to imagine I am just one of many companies that he invests in, and every year that company list gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Right.
And not to mention all of the public speaking events that he does as well. So when I get on the phone with him, I want to make sure that I extract as much of that knowledge as possible that can help me and ultimately help our investment.
Gotcha. May I ask how often you guys talk, or is it part of the relationship that's varies sometimes, or?
He has a stellar team, a very good direct sales, retail sales team that I work with. I want to say on a weekly to daily basis, but with him, he gets in, I would say once per quarter.
Okay.
We're able to connect.
Nice.
But he's never left me high and dry. He knows all the details of everything he needs to know of from a high level and how to direct his people to help me get to where I need to be.
Let's talk about campaigns for marketing. Have you had busts, successes? How do you measure effective campaigns? What tools do you use?
Some of the bigger marketing pitfalls that I've ever had been in PR firms. Oh my gosh.
PR firms?
I don't know if it's just the size of my product and where I was going to bring it, but the money that I was spending on thinking that somebody else was going to take this idea and just catapult me was never well spent. And I tried a couple of different versions as well. I found that more micro influencers is really where you hit more exposure, especially in today's Instagram, right? Not going for the bigger Instagram names with a big following. It's going for the smaller ones with more of a quaint hundreds or a few hundred followers that you can hit a lot more of than paying one big advertiser with 500,000 followers to spread one post or one message.
You mean so like targeting someone that may have more dog lover followers?
Correct.
Kind of something like that?
Correct, exactly. People who love taking pictures of their dog, they have their own dog Instagram account. They have a pretty decent sized following, maybe a couple hundred to a couple of thousand, right? And their audience is more engaged in them than maybe a top tier A, tier B celebrity profile, which charges $3,000 for a post or whatnot, but only reaches maybe 10% of their actual audience. So if you can get that same amount of money across 100 dog mom photographers, then you're actually reaching more people theoretically.
That makes sense. Any last words of wisdom, advice, really for anyone watching? 3 things you want to leave with us.
Execute, execute, execute. That's, I mean, honestly, get out there and start.
Exactly.
Right? Get out there and move it forward every single day. And that's how you make something come to life.
Don't just sit on YouTube watching our videos.
No, finish them all. Watch them all.
Watch them and go execute.
But use the motivation. That motivation
That's
is
awesome.
key. And that's motivation and execution. That's it.
Bingo.
Yeah.
You guys, we have something very special for you as our viewers, subscribers, from Jason and his product.
Yep, guys, I'm super excited to be able to offer your viewers 20% off on my entire store. So all you have to do is simply go to poochselfie.com, type in the coupon code UpFlip20, and you'll get 20% off.
That's awesome. Well, that's a wrap for part 2 of this 2-part series of us interviewing Jason, the owner of Pooch Selfie. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you execute, as we discussed on execution, and subscribe to our channel, like this video, hit that bell, and you guys, please share this video with every dog lover out there. We would greatly appreciate that, and thank you for watching.